the tension over here and say, hey, you're going to stop that now.
His head does turn towards you, and the eyes light up again to blast, but as you come around and confront it in that way, there is a delay in the moment, and it gives Ave a moment to act before that fires off.
Fair.
Is the pale visage.
Shh, go read it.
That looked pretty wild. I liked it. I think there's a reason that he made it so we couldn't buy it even with our combined wealth.
Is it alright?
Hmm?
Is it alright if I read it out loud, the description?
Hell yeah.
Okay. With a spiderweb crack on the center forehead gilded with star metal, this pure white mask is made of a singular white drag. Vincent!
Biddy? A
singular white dragon scale. Peering through the mask, you see the world in odd hues and shades. You gain +2 to your AC and intimidation skill when attuned.
Round. How are we feeling, guys?
I am
Not
not feeling
great.
good.
Just fucking peachy.
Cool.
Did I take any damage from that real quick?
Oh, you took 14 damage. Thank you for reminding me.
So happy to help.
Never remind him.
Hey, did we have homework last night?
That was
I'm not drowning.
that was,
I am sleeping so good.
that was kind of the, that was kind of the energy that got tossed out.
Put it back, put it back, put it back, put it back!
I put it back!
I mean, when you take it out because you are shrunk, you feel like whatever it was attached to on the inside it snaps away from. So like it's like pulling out a weed. So like you can put it back on top, but it's just gonna sit there. It's not gonna be in the ground again, so to speak.
We definitely just killed this guy. Like, killed this guy. Oh, fuck. Because I'm not sure I understand.
Is she acting good because she thinks acting good is going to keep everybody together, or is she just acting good because she got it all out of her system the night before?
She got most of it out of her system, so she's mellowed out.
Okay, that's all I was
for
asking.
now.
Mellowette? Like just a little mellow? A small mellow?
She's
You
mellowed.
had to see that coming.
I'm hanging up now.
Hi, Mel!
My
Something,
grandfather loves box wine, so maybe this is actually a good thing.
What's up, Azanar?
something that is at least older than 15 years.
In a box?
In a box.
Do boxes live that long?
No, absolutely not.
I just
This
enjoy the phrase these
conversation.
boxes live that long.
This conversation.
Emphasis on live.
This is how I die, folks. Goodbye. I really want like pixie form of like Eldritch Blast.
That's not me, though.
Alright, Mickey Mouse.
First of all, the Ivory Queen has some ways to get us out of the city. From here, that might be easier to get to than the greenhouse, especially considering how far the greenhouse is from us, and the fact that we neglected to remember that the city sells watermelon that lets you see through invisibility and disguise self. So...
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, there's magical fruit. It's kind of normal now, so I kind of forgot to think about it. But there's magic fruit that makes you do all wonder of things. It's really, really fun. But one of those is see basically into the ethereal plane.
I can't fucking wait to leave this place. What the fuck is this fucking hellscape?
But it's so
Where you've got
interesting.
weird ass magic fruit.
The party is lightly interrogated, sees Leon tied up and exhausted. He was in magic people cuffs, like with all the fingers. It was fun. We are accepted into the tribe, given jobs and a place to stay for the night, and instructed to report back in the morning for more stuff. Scaldy runs into her brother, shoots him in the foot.
A classic.
They do a little
Classic
talking.
Scaldy.
Yeah.
That moment did become like a defining moment for Scaldy as a personality trait.
Yep.
I do love I remember so clearly, it was like, you see your brother there, and then there's just this pause, and you had to be like, what do you do? And then the pause lingered, and then it was,
Shoot him in the foot. Just total throwaway.
I was thinking of which was the least damaging to shoot.
Here, and we're like, no, they just floated away and got. It wasn't. Unless she has some crazy magic, like people like are willing to testify, but you're probably gonna go to the police to just like have to explain some stuff. As this is going on, you all feel for the first time on Wishfall an earthquake.
You get purple.
What?
What? Don't worry about it. Shh.
No,
Funny
you're good.
It's funny as shit.
It hurts now.
Yeah, full stress to full laughter does that.
I'm gonna mute now. I'll be right back.
You go do your thing.
I mean, there's people. But there's not like a lot of people, but people.
Oh, I didn't know. I assumed we were the only 4 in the shop, so that's my mistake.
Well, I mean, his shop is kind of like an outdoor stall. Like again, he's literally like that guy from the opening from Aladdin, where it's like it's
Mel, the face.
My
I want
mistake.
that. I want that face as our new group
Please
chat.
no. Please no.
It's happening.
Seriously, me.
Sid gets a sending message and just hears in their minds.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Here's,
Oh, fuck.
Here's, Mama, I haven't failed you yet. Much improved. Where the hell have you been? Miss you. Fuck 'em up.
I will say you don't get that message.
What?
What?
You're not playing that character right now. You don't know what's going on. Sid, you have a nice daydream about a message from Maybe.
Oof.
Minnie. Ow.
Vincent, the fuck?
5e monk class things just by typing in crazy gun monk in Google.
That sounds
surprising.
That sounds super correct. Yeah, Kensai
Yeah,
monks with
technically-
guns are really.
Technically speaking, thanks to Tasha's, gun monk can officially be a thing.
It is. I made a bunch. It was great.
Oh my God.
It was really fun.
I hate this.
Oh, they were great.
Next to Arc, Crazy Gun Monks. Party
Yes.
name.
Yeah, sure. I'll recommend that to the Dark Arc people.
I
Do you guys want to go get tattoos?
fuck this.
Yes, tattoos. And
I would
then
like a
maybe
tattoo, Papa.
Stab me, daddy.
You didn't like that, Connie? I mean, Mel.
I got worse. It got worse when
When Nova talked?
yes.
Yeah, I do that. I'm sorry.
Didn't we... I just talked to you guys.
Yes, darling, catch up.
The crying.
Smoke
And
inhalation.
she smoke inhalation, and she
That's amazing. And maybe you guys are able to stealth around in the zoo. The animals are helping you. They don't know what you're doing, but they like go in front of you when the time is right.
Help.
Missy is very noticeable. I would say Missy probably does not help. But like there's a giant elk who's just like standing there, takes 2 steps forward to block your view, to block the view for a second, 2 steps back. So yeah, you guys are able to spy as these two go around and, you know, check out like all the animals. That was creepy.
It's the makeup.
Mask that you got, the pale visage, I did update that.
Cool.
So I'm going to send you the updated version.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
The mask called the pale visage that Lyra found so far
Great!
back.
Great.
So
Just great.
I'll All I had it marked down as, I don't think it had a name as far as I knew. I knew it was a white scaled mask that when I wore it, it allowed me to do
dragon
cold
scale
grip.
mask. Yep.
But it would allow, I could feel something looking through the mask with me, so I didn't use it that often.
That really sounds like Tiamat.
It really does
right
now.
There.
Yeah.
You
Fuck Tiamat.
face so Tiamat
Vinny?
can look through your eyes.
Yeah.
Vinny. Vinny, look at me. Look at me, Vinny. Go fuck yourself.
We haven't even started playing yet.
I'm having some emotions.
All the live long, probably the least liked. Things that smelled awful, ratty mud off the street, and Love explained it as if you give even the worst thing a chance to be better, there's a good chance it might happen. Mask that you got, the Pale Visage, I did update that.
Cool.
So I'm going to send you the updated version.
I'm sorry, say that one more time?
The mask called the Pale Visage that Lyra found so far back.
Great!
So,
Great.
all I had it marked down as, I don't think it had a name as far as I knew. I knew it was a white scaled mask that when I wore it, it allowed me to do
dragon
cold
scale
grip.
mask. Yep.
But it would allow, I could feel something looking through the mask with me, so I didn't use it that often.
That really sounds like Tiamat.
It really does
right
now.
There.
Yeah.
You
Fuck Tiamat.
face so Tiamat
Vinny?
can look through your eyes.
Yeah.
Vinny, look at me. Look at me, Vinny. Go fuck yourself.
We haven't even started playing.
Oh no.
I don't know what noise I was making, but
I don't know what noise you're making either.
Did you ever watch Samurai Jack?
Yes. Were you trying to impersonate the theme song?
Yeah, I don't know. They have that weird like in the opener, and that was the noise I think I was making, or I'm going to say we were.
It was roughly in the ballpark. Yeah.
Hi guys.
What a great way to start.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Hello.
Wonderful, fantastic. Hi guys. We are Records of the Realms. I'm Vinny. This is Mel.
Hi.
You know our faces by now. I hope. I so hope.
My face is your face is on this channel consistently, but mine's on it way too much. So
Also consistently.
if you don't know our names by now, it might be a little bit problematic.
Yeah, you don't get name tagged this time around. I'm Vinny / Vander. This is Mel / Meloette. Those are our names. You know where to find our information, I hope. Hello, Echo, in the chat.
What's up,
awesome.
Echo?
We're here to kind of celebrate and also discuss a lot of things technically, but we're celebrating a bit about the fact that the Vault of the Ivory Queen is fully funded. In addition to being fully funded, it's almost 200% over its goal.
Yeah.
Almost 50 backers, and yeah, we're going strong. I'm hyped. So we decided to set up this little chattity chat, where Mel has asked the rest of the record keepers and scriveners.
No. Record creepers is absolutely correct. That's the name now.
No,
it's 100% true.
I refuse.
Yes, record creepers.
Ask them to all list some questions to ask me, the person who kind of started this BS. So y'all could have fun grilling me. Mel also probably wrote out many a question, having been in 3/7 campaigns of mine at this point, with lots of different characters, and probably has to yell at me about a lot of things. So we're gonna get some of that out here too.
I've actually done a very good job of restraining myself in that manner. You would be so proud of me, because nobody would understand what I'm talking about. They'd just be like, Mel, you look like a psychopath. And I'd be like, you are correct. So
let me show you my 7 different journals with all the different notes.
Wait, hold on. This is a campaign notebook. This is a campaign notebook. That's for a different campaign in a totally different game and not in this world at all. My Avernus one is on my iPad, but once upon a time I had it in... Oh, wait, no. I don't know where that notebook is. I had like a Critical Role, Beauregard, Cobalt Soul notebook.
Yeah, it was very, very cute.
It was very good. I actually really enjoyed that notebook. Although it didn't lay very flat, so I don't think I'll get it again. No offense, Critical Role, I love you, but get better notebooks, please. Says the stationary geek.
Yeah. Thanks for getting a lot of us on this path, but yes, notebooks are nice when they lay flat.
Yes. Makes note taking a lot easier.
In addition to the random questions, we actually have the QR code set up right over here, so you can actually go and hop right over and check out the Kickstarter. And we also have a web page opened where I can refresh every once in a while and just see what's going on in the Kickstarter on the off chance things change. Currently we are double the goal almost, 47 backers.
Dude, holy
39
shit.
hours to go. Yeah, I'm very excited.
That's very exciting.
But now we will get away from that and hop back to and the rest of this time Mel's kind of in charge about what happens to me. Oh, I have not seen the lore drop thing where it glows and changes color. Is that a thing that it happens on purpose, or is
that's the animated emote that I sent.
Crap, I haven't seen that. That's
no, I've been updating the emotes on the regular. So I also just had the horrible realization that today I posted something as Whip Wednesday. It's Tuesday. Yeah. That's me today. I know what day of the week it is. I'm doing great. How about you? Anyways, let's grill the shit out of Vinny, shall we? Do we want to start? Okay, I've got a couple categories of questions here.
Okay.
All right. Most of them
this feels like Jeopardy.
Basically. Most of them fall under the vault or under general DMing questions. Some are more lore specific to your world. And then some are just straight about like Vagari. Do you want to start with Kickstarter? Do you want to start with DMing? Do you want to start with world building?
We only have friends here right now. Let me get my pretending I'm a DM expert tips out of the way first, I guess.
While you feel safe.
Exactly. So the only people that potentially can be impressioned upon are people who already know me.
Who already know you and your bullshit. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, let's start with two and maybe mash them together a little bit. These ones come from Anders. Advice for DMs and or advice for 5e content creation.
For DMs, don't do it. If you do it, you don't ever get out. It's a joke, but also a little bit serious. No,
find yourself a good player who will make time for you to play.
Yeah, it's sometime. Either find what your passion is in TTRPGing. Is it making your own crazy web of storylines that you want people to follow? Do you like the chaos of one-shots and you just want to be able to let people loose and let things happen and you don't want to control the plot? If you find your comfortable area, go ham at it. Don't try to do something you don't like. If you are not a fan of combat, I happen to be a fan of like every part of D&D, which is great. I love combat. I love roleplay. I love like the plot thickening. All of it great. But if you don't like something, don't pretend to be an expert. Learn it, because you should learn a little bit about it. But
how do you thicken the plot? Do you add a lot of starch?
Yes. It's a bad joke. Plasmoid. Yeah, gotcha.
Listen, I'm chock full of them, okay?
The bad puns.
I feel like I'm pretty sure there's at least a dozen clips of me making bad puns, and we should just make that into like a roll of bad puns.
But now you're doing it as a bard, so it's okay.
Yeah. But it should be acceptable year round.
No. I refuse. You do it year round with or without my permission. What are you getting sad about? I don't control you. Oh, hiccups. That's great. Oh. Really excited about that.
You got water, right?
Yeah, like my only real advice is find what you really like and stick to that. Explore other things because it's the only way you grow as a DM. Combat was my main thing because I played a lot of Fire Emblem and other games that had like a lot of tactical natures to them. So combat was always my favorite part until like we got more into the role play. Like I had a storyline in combat,
Mhm.
but like role playing itself wasn't like a big thing I thought about.
It wasn't a priority for you.
Not as much, but it kept happening more and more, and I was like, oh, never mind, I love this, and like, so I started to get better at that, and like I embracing that, and I was like, oh, I can hurt people worse than in combat if I get really good at the role playing.
Can confirm, can attest to that, because I'm pretty sure, if memory serves right, Elemental Extrication was like your first like campaign you DM'd, because you did like limited series or one shots before, but this was the first time. I also have photographic evidence that actually Elemental Extrication was supposed to be a series of one shots. You're a dirty liar.
Everything I promised to be one shot
Every
has
time
turned
Vinny
into
promised a
campaigns.
one shot, it's turned into a campaign or a dead campaign. Throwback to the cottage, and you were like, we have to do a second session to finish this, and nobody was free.
Which one was that? There's
The
a couple
one where
of
you
them.
had us all, you pre-generated characters for us and randomly gave them out to everybody, and we slowly learned about our characters over time. Which, by the way, I would love to attempt that. That seems so fun.
I think if you know D&D, that's great. When you don't know anything,
When you don't know
about
D&D, it doesn't make sense.
It's terrifying.
Sir.
Matcha
agrees that it doesn't make sense.
I can tell. What was the other question? One was about the DMing stuff. I forgot what the other question was.
No, there was advice for DMs, and then there was advice for 5e content creation.
I recommend two pathways for that. One, it gets find what people are complaining about and make things that spite that. That is one avenue I go.
Fuel your content via spite.
Example, a lot of people hate, or a lot of DMs dislike early flyers because it makes combat harder and three-dimensional, and once someone can fly, it can complicate things a lot. Oops. I designed a bunch of things that made it so people can fly from like level 1 and 2 and 3 because like flying is cool and everyone wants to fly, and why would you not give people that ability?
Maybe you should like get wings surgically added to your back by a shady salesman.
You were level like 9 or 10.
I know, but still, it was really funny. I was like, let's go to this shady body parts dealer in Avernus and get some wings. This seems like a great idea.
Look, it worked out really well, and you ended up you were going to get wings anyways, not like you were like destined to, but like the second you grabbed the sword,
that's
you
fair.
were gonna get wings. So
that's very fair.
But the other avenue I recommend is find like the inspiration. So like anime series, books, and stuff that have like items that you don't necessarily copy exactly, but like you're like this has like a ring to it that if I bring into D&D, something like it doesn't already exist, or even if it does already exist, it's like I can make it better or worse, I guess, depending on sometimes you want to make things worse. I found a lot of times I like to make things worse.
Yeah, can confirm. Segue though, speaking of pulling from media, what inspirations in media and games did you draw from for Vigari and for, well, specifically Wishfall from Anders, but just in general?
Vigari in general, a big thing in my whole life is a love of the original 4 elements, but also in a book series I was writing. You know that book series we all were writing as kids?
Yeah, everybody writes a book.
Yeah, mine involved around 6 elements, the original 4 elements plus light and dark. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna turn this into a D&D thing, because that's way more doable than me writing a book. Which was inspired from Captain Planet, Avatar: The Last Airbender, like so many things, Digimon Frontier, things that like had those like elemental forces being the central focus.
I was not expecting Captain Planet as an inspiration source. That's interesting to me.
Like that was before Avatar. Captain Planet was the original 4 elements.
Right, that's fair.
Crew.
That's fair. But I'm
know I'm
talking
old.
specifically in like an action adventure-y sense. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender comes up as like a very obvious inspiration for a lot of people, I think.
I would hope so, and then
You
a lot
know,
of players
especially
too.
for an elemental themed campaign where you have the arcs named after each element. Like, hello, you know?
Yeah, no, that's fair. Wishfall didn't really have a set piece of inspiration. There's a lot of cool flying cities, and I wanted to make a cool flying city, and I did. So that was really it. I can't explain some of the backstory, but like Power Rangers was part of the inspiration for that. Did you ever watch the movie Elysium, starring I think Matt Damon?
The name sounds familiar, but I'm gonna say no.
It was a floating all the rich people got to make their own floating island
What the
and
heck?
fucked off from the planet because the planet was slowly dying.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I immediately thought of like Castle in the Sky.
I only saw that because you guys kept saying that it
Oh,
reminded me.
It up.
No, I had never seen Castle in the Sky until you guys made me watch it. And I was like, this is cool. Didn't do anything for me, but this is cool.
It was honest. I could go on a whole tangent about how Castle in the Sky is like. It's a cute movie. That's it.
It is.
It's a cute movie, but it's
It
like
had
for me,
a
it's like
wonderful aesthetic.
yes, very aesthetically pleasing. Story wise, I was like, why do I care? But anyway, this is not a film critique time.
That's tomorrow night.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah, that's the most I could really give Wishfall inspiration, because most of it was me being like, I want a
Waffle
random
fries?
place where people. I do want waffle fries.
Same.
I needed a place where ASMRs could be safe, and that's what made that
I
exist.
have so many questions about that, but I know that they're spoilers, so I can't bother asking you. I'm not loving it. This is one of those things that I have to restrain myself from. No, you have to do the song like in the verse because I'm not loving it.
I think that was right. I don't know.
I'm not sure. If somebody can reverse that and see, then great. Would appreciate.
Echo, have you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Echo has never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they like to bring this up on the regular.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure Echo was one of the people who
Admitted multiple times on multiple occasions that they have not seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, and we try to peer pressure them into watching it, and each time it doesn't happen.
It is technically not a lot to get through, but it's like 61 episodes, so like it's also a lot. It's a lot while not being a lot.
It's a decent chunk of content. It's a very decent chunk of content. Okay. Let's see. So, kind of going to segue into this one a little bit. What's the best way for a newbie to become acquainted with the world of Vagari?
I'll be honest, there's not a good method yet. The best method is honestly watching the individual sessions that we have, eventually hopefully podcast, and then making a single book proper that really introduces Vagari. But to get Vagari as a whole, it doesn't fully exist yet, which is more my fault than like anybody else's. But it will eventually be a thing because we are going along those tracks. I would say Gentlefolk itself is a really good starter to a very small part of Vagari, but each of the individual streams are exploring different parts of the world. Eventually, there will be written formats for it. Until then, watch us fuck around.
And find out. Don't forget the and find out part.
Well, I already know, so you're the ones who find out.
Okay.
I just fuck around.
Yeah. All right. So going off of that, if you can recall, because it's been years now at this point, how much world building did you do before you started doing these elemental arcs, and then how much has changed since then?
When I originally recommended the elemental extrications, because they were one-shots, because I planned them to be one-shots, they all had a very simple mission.
Right.
It was go here, do this one thing,
Find the
and go
MacGuffin.
here.
Yep.
Yeah, and each of them had that. So it was like, here's one village, here's the track along the way, here's the ending town. And that was like it for all of them almost. But after Earth Arc, I was like, oh, wait, no, I can build a lot of things.
Yes.
So then everything went from being like the maybe 2 or 3 session thing, assuming it wasn't going to take long for you guys to get there, to being like a full thing.
Yeah, and I think, if memory serves right, every arc, it got longer and longer and longer and longer as you went on. Like, Earth Arc was the shortest. I think it was under 30 sessions. It was like 36.
It was 21 or 22 for Earth Arc.
Air
and then was,
was like
24 or
Yeah.
something like that.
And then Water got pretty massive.
Got long, and then Fire was, I think, the first one to break 30, and I think Light Arc is also going to break 30.
Light Arc is definitely going to break 30 because we keep asking so many questions and like following random threads that like there's no way we're going to keep it under 30.
Probably not, but
It's not going to happen.
If you can, it's great. If you can't,
We might hit like 40, I feel like.
We'll see. But it's definitely going to be a lot. But yeah, I formed out these little paths, and I was like, this is going to be in a basic village. This is going to be from a port town going to a city in the sky. And this, like, I knew what they were before every arc I developed everything. So there are huge parts of Agari that aren't even really developed yet. I know, like, basics, but I don't, like, I don't know the political structure or any of that crazy crap.
So then, like, okay, wait. So did you have essentially like a tagline of like, by comparison to the way things turned out? You had like a tagline for each arc, and then it expanded into like a 5-page essay. But does that feel accurate?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then so then how quickly did you have to like expand it into like, say, an outline for said 5-paragraph essay or 5-page essay? Like, did you start doing that as soon as Earth Arc started being like a campaign, or did you just like wait until each arc was like getting ready to start?
Usually I always leave a break between the 2 arcs so I can use that time to do the planning for the next arc. Earth Arc was the one where I couldn't do a lot of it, but I already had, like, I was making characters, so many NPCs, because it was an obsession for a while.
So many NPCs off the fly, though, too.
So that I just, like, started populating things, and I was like, cool, they're gonna go this way, but hey, if they go off the beaten track, they have this and this and this and this, and then you guys took one, and then it was like, oh, okay, well, time to make a hidden sanctuary, and then it was like more and more and more and more.
Oopsie.
There's a lot.
Let's free a wizard and let him cause an avalanche. That won't go wrong. That won't have any consequences elsewhere in the world. No, what?
You didn't free a wizard.
Oh, I'm sorry, a bard, whatever. With a baby rattle.
Some people have different styles than you.
Baby rattle? Why the baby rattle? Why does Leon have a fucking baby rattle, dude?
That's a great question you could bring up in light or potentially in dark for whoever plays dark.
We haven't Leon in light.
She showed you an image of him.
Did she?
Mhm.
Shit.
I did rewatch the episode.
Which episode?
The same one, but earlier in that episode, you guys ended up talking about boyfriends.
You're gonna have to give me the timestamp so that I can review. Okay. Here's a slight roast. Are you ever going to actually run a one-shot? An actual one-shot? Maybe a 2-shot? Is that ever gonna happen for you?
There is a plan. We technically us doing A Quiet Year was supposed to be a one-shot that is technically supposed to be a 2-shot, but we've never played the second session, so it's currently just a one-shot.
Yeah. Okay, let me rephrase. Are you ever gonna actually run a one-shot that'll actually finish in one session?
Not if I can add more story to it.
There. Alright.
I like adding story, so that's the issue.
That's fair. Speaking of adding story, you added a lot of subclasses, or a decent amount of subclasses to Vault of the Ivory Queen. Are those subclasses designed to fill a void in the existing core, or are they more external ideas that can fit inside established classes?
So they're no to all three, definitely no for two of those, where they aren't designed to fit anything. So the first two that were made were specifically tailored because and I have other ideas, but that's a whole other thing, and when I get to those, but for the ones that are currently created in their entirety, Oath of the After, which is basically Grey Paladin, and then the Draconic Patronage for Warlock were made because I had players request stuff. And I loved the ideas and was like, we're gonna do this, and I made those. Dimension 20 kind of inspired the anti-magic monk with I think it's season 2 of Unsleeping City with Tony Simos.
Heck,
You haven't watched it? Oh,
I haven't watched it yet.
Then I will keep you from spoilers.
No, that's fine. I'll probably forget. I have the memory of a goldfish. That's why I have to write everything down.
That's fair. But yes, those two. But I've always wanted to make. Every class has either magic, like really good magical enhancing capabilities, or the ability to at least like learn counterspell or dispel magic. Monk is absent from that. The only way they can do it is if they stun somebody. Can they knock out a caster? So I really want to make a designed monk that is made to, like, their only mission is to wipe out magic.
Temptation that I have to play this anti-magic monk is so fucking strong. I won't do it because I mained a monk for like 3-4 years.
Yeah, I think you need a monk break, but you could.
Yes. Warlock next. I feel like I should do Warlock next.
That is fair. Warlock is super fun. We're also apparently Warlock babies being acquired.
Apparently,
so, yeah.
we're Warlock buddies.
I'm
according to
fine
that
with
one TikTok.
We get Eldritch Blasts. We're pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll take Eldritch Blast. Speaking of like having things in the real world, if you could sorry, let me rephrase this question. If you could take any one item out of Vault of the Ivory Queen and have it in real life, what item would that be? Ooh, I make him think.
This is gonna get real sad if I say it.
Oh no.
I designed a specific item. I forget the full name, but it was the Veil of something that I made after my aunt died last year. Because I was like, people should have a way to talk to the dead, but like actually talk to the dead, not speak with dead, because that's not right.
Like their dead bodies, but like talk to their spirits.
The spirits. So I made an item for that.
Heart.
The main problem with this is the fact that I don't like my aunt.
Oh,
but I was still sad. Like it was like, you know, you're just sad because of the thing that happened.
No, because like grief is weird like that.
Yeah, so I was like sad, and I was like, I'm gonna make this thing to help deal with my sadness. But also, if I had this thing, I would just yell at her. But
that's fair. That's fair. Honestly,
yeah.
I might co-opt your answer. I haven't even seen all of the items yet, but like that sounds like a good.
Yeah, that one's a good one, and also like besides personal use, I could sell that for for people to use, and that would totally make me so much money. But that's where my two brains went. I was like, good in personal use, but also I could loan shark it out.
Okay.
There's also cooler items than that, guys. I just like. I knew which one was gonna hit me real hard. So.
Yeah, right in the feels. You have a penchant for just going for the jugular of feelings, like.
I have feelings, and I like expressing the feelings, and being sad is sometimes good.
Yeah. Okay, this is an off the cuff question. Have you ever had like a really cathartic moment in D&D as a player or a DM?
Player, definitely. DM, Not yet,
Mm.
but I'm kind of planning it.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Cool.
So I can't talk about that one.
I
but,
won't say. I won't pry any further.
Yeah,
That's
so you won't
fine.
know about that one, but the one as a player, it was a lot of emotions, a lot of catharsis when I played Benai, when I played the
Oh.
person who became Lathander, because it
Honk if
was...
you're hot for Lathander.
I don't know if you know this. I don't know who knows this.
You've told me some things about Benai and like passing combos, but go on.
Benai is based off of my dog Bandit.
Oh, what? That's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
When I had him as a kid, who was like my best friend and my little guardian and stuff.
I'm already emotional. Your D&D character is based off your... Is this where the magical girl dog thing came from?
I just I haven't been a dog character for a while, because it is a thing I will do every once in a while.
I see. Okay.
So
So this is a pattern. All right. Good to know. Good to know.
I like dogs. I am a dog person.
I couldn't tell. At all.
Yeah.
No idea.
When he passed, I was very sad for a long time, and I'm still sad. It's one of those things, like everyone's got those things where like,
oh yeah,
you're just always sad about it. Like you think about it too long, and well, now I'm crying.
Yeah.
Like it's just a thing that happens.
No, I still have my childhood dog's collar. Like I get it.
Yeah, so
I haven't let it go. I was supposed to give it back. I did not give it back.
Benai was based off of a because Bandit had multicolored fur. He had white, gray, brown, black. Like he was a German Shepherd Siberian Husky mix, so he was just a mess of a dog.
Oh, he must have been the most beautiful boy.
I loved him. So I made Benai, who was originally a wolf pup, who had a multi-colored coat in a society of wolves where everyone only had a singular colored coat. So he was an oddball out, and they gave him to a local kingdom to make a pact between the wolves and the humans. And like the whole backstory and like the whole, like literally everything that's happening now in Elemental Extrication is from this one character backstory that just kept going too far.
Wait, I'm sorry. Question: how did he end up like human then, or humanoid? I guess I should say.
A force of nature was angry with the family that took him in. When he went to defend the kid, the force of nature admired his bravery, and as a boon, even and kind of a bane, he was given the form of a celestial as repayment for not being able to protect the boy. So then he was turned into an Asimar, but it's kind of like Wolverine in the first X-Men movie, where like he's a little too wild and doesn't understand himself and what he is. And like that was like the beginning for him. Was turning into this, being tossed out of his own like plane, and then dealing with everything else that happened.
And then somewhere along the way, he becomes a god. A very pretty god at that, but he becomes a god.
And like Bliss, he also got wings that just stay out for forever.
Oh my god. Love that. Sorry, speaking of dogs, I have to bribe my own dog into being a good boy because he's being noisy. Here's a good pup. Here's a good pup. Uncle, you just get one for being good because you're a good girl. Okay.
We love Uncle.
She's a sweetie pie. She's my anxious baby, and I love her. She's me in dog form.
Oh god.
Okay. Let's see. Back to the Kickstarter because we only have, what is it, like 36 hours left on it? Not even.
I'm gonna do a refresh, and I will tell you. 38 hours, 39 hours.
Holy shit. Okay. If memory serves right, you have like what, over 100 items in the Kickstarter, right? Okay. Are they silly, overpowered, balanced, a mix of all three?
All three. I think you know me well enough to know that it's all three.
I remember like one silly item is the thing. Like I don't remember if there was multiple silly items.
There was the Limp Dick Dagger.
Yes, there was that, which I'm pretty sure Echo coined the name for that.
Yeah, someone, I don't remember how it got brought up before, but I made that item. There's a couple silly ones here and there. Most of the silly ones are made by Chilium Ferris. good old chili phase.
Chili phase.
But there's some other ones that are really awfully, I think they're really funny. There's a set of tablets you can eat that are basically the equivalent of all of the fruit that you guys have had on the City of Sea
You
and
made them
Sky.
into tablets. Oh no!
Chewable tablets.
Eat your vitamins.
Exactly.
Oh god. Okay.
Get your magic
All right.
powers.
Oh my god. And they're by Ash and Industrial, aren't they? You fucker.
I don't remember who they're by.
They would have to be.
It's either by
Like the
Morphe's
Frosted
Magical
Mouth.
Mile or Ashen Industrial. I don't know which one.
Okay.
But yes, I like some silly stuff, but I do like. Everyone wants that badass item that they're like, this is my item. So I make lots of those so everyone can have something.
Scarf of the Air's Journey, which you had to nerf.
Also, Toll of the Forsaken.
Yes, Toll of the Forsaken was so cool.
So the reason that I was very happy about that, and every time you were angry, I was also a little happy about that. I purposely made that weapon with the power of like fire damage because I knew it wasn't going to hurt anything in there because everything had immunity. So every time you're like, and like five fire damage is they're immune. You're like, fuck. It made me very happy.
Well, I'm glad you were entertained. You fucker. Alright, okay, so this Kickstarter, this book is Vault of the Ivory Queen, right? Is there like an overall theme with that, or is it just like it's the vault because it's like here's all of her like you and I both know that Irona is an inventor. Are these all just like her kind of random inventions? Or
not all of them. Like, if I did that, there would be probably half as many items. The big thing about it is they are invented items by like artificers and like sellers and like industrialists. So there's a lot of Ashen Industrial, Irona, and a couple other people like Chili Face who are like big into making things. So it's a lot of it is their stuff, but there's also like a bunch of other things too, because if I narrowed it down to just items that were like made by artificers, it would have been a really narrow list by comparison.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, I think Andrew's just asked this question in chat.
Ooh.
Anything you don't want your players to use against you? I don't know what that means.
Like, is there an item in the book that you don't want a player to get a hold of?
Yes, but the player already got a hold of it, and they already used it.
Who? I need to know. I need to know.
In the Fire arc,
okay.
I did set up people to get it.
Right.
So, like, it wasn't the craziest thing. It's just it was a very slim chance, and he kind of blew it out of the water. Played Dennis Quail.
Who, okay, go on.
Is our Kenku multi-classer.
I love Dennis.
And he grabbed a piece of string that is from Istis's sewing kit.
No.
So the piece of string is basically, if you're using it right, kind of like a wish spell because you're able to rewrite the fabric
of what
reality is. And he used it 3 times. He was able to get 3 wishes out of it. Luckily, Alex is very good at not like just doing an OP thing. He does like a silly thing that's like just really kind of cool. So he like saved people's lives one time. He did something really stupid another time. And then he made a giant bunch of volcanic magma turn into solid diamond, which then ended up being something that they could sell for like 5 trillion.
I was about to say, is that why they're so freaking rich?
Yeah, it's because they did that, and it was the one thing that they did that was also kind of like OP. Everything else was like silly or like for the goof, but he
everything
did
I've heard about Fire Arc secondhand, I'm like, I love these people, and I barely even know them.
It's great. I'm hoping there's a lot of
I really want a Fire Arc Earth Arc mashup because it would just be chaos.
That's one of the few that can currently happen right now. Depending on what happens with Gentlefolk, maybe Gentlefolk could cross over too. Like, but that's like a lot of different storylines.
Well, okay, wait. I have a question to that because Gentlefolk takes place 5 years in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm scared to know, one, how in the hell they could cross over with everybody like that unless there's some wibbly wobbly timey-wimey shit.
I mean, we did a 1 year time skip. Like, we can do yearly time skips.
Fair. That's fair.
We just have to
I
get
just
to
didn't know if you were like planning something.
we just have to get to like a culmination of a story, and then we're like, okay, everyone can have downtime for a couple of years.
Putting us in like Han Solo, like carbon stasis for like 4 years, and suddenly we're released.
So there's no one that likes you guys enough that if that happens to you, you're going to survive.
Hi, Kareen!
Hello.
Hey, friend.
Hi.
Did you just hear the rude shit Vinny just said?
I completely missed it.
Okay. So I asked because he was saying that there could be potential crossovers between the various arcs.
Overs.
I'm gonna punch you. Maybe that's why I'm a monk bane. I always threaten to punch people.
That makes too much sense.
It makes a little too much sense. But I asked him, I was like, well, how the hell would gentlefolk catch up? Because we are 5 years in the past, 4 or 5 years in the past before everything else that happens. I was like, are you going to put us in like Han Solo carbon stasis? He's like, you don't have anyone that would like you enough to help you out of that and let you survive that. And I was like,
as a
right?
group, you guys really like Irona would have to somehow track you guys down.
That's
that would be
true.
the only way.
That's true. Irona would have to do some scrying and find us.
Except for maybe Kin's girlfriend.
Kin's girlfriend is one option, and also maybe,
and perhaps Barachiv.
That's
but
a whole other
Barachiv
question.
Wouldn't be able to, so like that's a different problem.
Join the Google Meets chat if you want your lord showing up. Please and thank you.
I had every intention to join that before joining this.
It's
okay. You're great.
Forgot.
It happens. We
It's
love
fine.
you.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same things. I was supposed to be like, don't worry, we still love you.
Okay. Okay, wait, but follow-up question to that. Like, I guess this is sort of my question, but not really. So I'm gonna kind of split this into like A and B. Who would your ideal mashed up parties be out of who's like active right now?
That's not fair. You're asking me who my favorite children are.
No, I'm not asking you who your favorite children are. I'm saying what would be your preferred combo of all the parties?
Like not player-wise, character-wise.
Yes.
So, in one situation, I want all the monks to meet.
Yeah.
I just think that would be really funny.
So stupid.
I also want all the bards to meet because they're all really weird and different.
They're all very different. Yes.
So those two ideas alone excite me. Purely by like classes and watching the different archetypes like interacting with each other. People I would love to get that. I think Bliss and Temerity, specifically Bliss from Earth Arc.
Oh, that would be so weird.
Would be a really weird, like the vibes would be really weird, and I would really enjoy watching that.
Extremely contrasting vibes, especially Earth Arc Bliss, who is very naive and sheltered, and definitely is not well versed in
well versed in Bark.
well versed in Bork, who is not like, she's never had a relationship she's never had a romantic relationship. She's barely even ever had a crush on someone. Like, that would be wild.
That would be another fun one. Like, there's a lot of
Temerity would open her eyes to so many things. I'm not sure if that's a good thing.
Those are words that are things that would happen. Yeah, there's a lot of really good combos that I'd really love. I would love the Gentlefolk meeting almost anybody. I really want I want the Fire Arc people. I want Team Blaster to catch up to any of the other groups because they have a weird energy that I just want to see it like synergize with anybody just to see what happens. Gentlefolk I think would also be really great, but they're very different spectrums. One's pure chaos, and like no matter what you guys say, Fire Arc beats Gentlefolk chaos. Like,
doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Like, literally listening to the recap of Fire Arc and what happened at the time, I was like, oh my god, these guys are fucking weird. Like,
yeah. But yeah, I would enjoy a lot of combos.
I am so glad to hear that Gentlefolk has been beaten preemptively by other people in chaos levels.
yes.
That makes me incredibly happy.
Yes, Kareen did suddenly spike in volume for me as well, Vinny.
Yeah.
If
Did
that's
I?
what you were going to ask. Yes, suddenly.
I think your headset actually just finally kicked in.
Yeah, your headset was like, I'm here!
Maybe my Discord just decided to swap instead, though.
Potentially.
Uh,
Okay.
You're sounding good, though, so everything's good.
Okay, so this kind of feeds into my secondary question.
None of my settings changed.
Okay, Vinny, you have to build the Avengers of Vigari. You have to take like 5 to 7 members across all of the parties and put them into an Avenger-style team. Who are you picking?
I'm just gonna choose one from each, just to make my life simple. I'm gonna do Bliss from Avernus. I'm just gonna I'm gonna say Bliss shows up in Vigari. We're gonna take. I really want Scaldy on that team. I need a Hawkeye. Scaldy's the Hawkeye.
Which Scaldy though? Avernus Scaldy or Earth Arc Scaldy?
Yeah, no. Bliss is from Avernus. Scaldy is from Earth.
From Earth. Okay.
I'm choosing one from each.
Got you.
Air Arc would be Mason because almost every other group has run into Warforged based off of the Nensalon design, and technically Mason is from that original set.
That's right.
So watching you guys having to interact with that would be really funny. So then Water Arc, I would say Navari purely because everyone else in Water totally made it all fall apart. The only one who watches this is Nova, so I don't really care. I like all the other people. I'm just not gonna say. Anyways, Fire. I don't need more chaos ever.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes, who's the most tame fire person you can choose? Is the question.
Gromagol. Not the most tame. Gromagol is a half orc. I think either half gnome or half ling as well. So a very short half orc, with a giant bear friend, who is like way too big.
I love this already.
So that I want that from. I want Gromagol from Fire.
Fantastic.
Light. Adding Temerity to anything just makes situations really funny. But do I want Temerity?
Temerity is Black Widow.
There's just so many good options.
I mean,
there.
He could be though.
Temerity would be. I think Temerity. I'm gonna choose Temerity from there, and then Gentlefolk. I think Sprig has a lot to lose, so that'd be really fun.
See, for a second I thought you were gonna pick Sid. I'm not gonna lie.
I would have picked Sid. I
also like my brain immediately went to Sid for like Avengers style like party. I was like
potential. Like Sid is so good. If only Ariel rolled well, Sid would be so fantastic at so many things.
I hope Ariel is watching this right now and how we are roasting his rolls so hard.
I love you.
This is why we have the one auto crit and the one reroll. So
yeah, for Ariel actually specifically, we don't say it out loud. We're saying the quiet part out loud now. Let Ariel have an auto crit for once in their life.
I just learned about even more ridiculous builds for critting, and I'm very excited about making those to hurt you guys.
I have a build that I am going to play at some point and subject you to, Vinny, just so you know.
That sounds great. As a DM or as a player?
As a player, I'm going to subject you as a DM to it eventually.
Amazing. Okay. Another question back to the Kickstarter. I'm pretty sure earlier you said something about another book. So, if there is another book in your future, what do you want to see in the next one that didn't go into this one? Or do you plan on using a lot more of this book's content in future games first?
If this one is technically successful, I don't know why I was going to say it like it wasn't already almost double. After this one, I'm going to, once the books are out, once I get critiques and see how people like what I have produced there, with 2/3 campaigns always running, I'm always going to be creating things. Like, even if we weren't playing those, I would be creating them anyways, because I've found that being, like, artificing as a DM, as making things, is, like, my happy place. I have so much fun just making things. I will keep making things, whether or not we're playing, whether or not what's going on. But depending if we don't hit stretch goals, anything that's a stretch goal here, most likely I'm going to make it and just put it in the next book.
Gonna roll over into new content.
Yeah, and the fun thing is, Vault of the Ivory Queen was a nod to an NPC from Earth Arc. Den of Cassius is the nod to an NPC from Air Arc. So I'm going to keep down a line of just, like, cool title related to random NPC no one but, like, 3 people know about every time.
No, you know what? That's dope though, because then you get to, like, add, like, a cool NPC to each book, and that's fun.
Yeah, and eventually, either I'm gonna have just, like, a whole line of books, all with slightly different colored.
This is giving me immediately a follow-up question. What would the Light Arc's title be if you were to do a book for Light Arc?
I don't know.
Who would be the NPC for that?
So the thing is, I only have the next one planned. I don't know any of the other ones yet. Like, any of the other ones.
Okay, fair.
If I was going to do Light Arc...
I swear to God, if you make it about Aster Montego, I will riot.
I was really thinking about it. I'm going to let you know, for the first 3 seconds of my thinking, it was...
I could see it in your eyes.
Then I switched it... I would probably name it something after Albert, because it would be fun to be, like, call it, like, something related to, like, a library or the collective, or be like,
fair.
like the secret library of Albert or something like that. Like, it would be something like
Albert seems like a really interesting NPC. I'm, like, really sad Connie didn't get to meet him this week, but it's fine. There'll be other opportunities, hopefully.
You missed so much this week.
I know. That's why I went back and I listened to the episode. I'm aware, Kareen. Stop smiling at me like that, okay? I already re-listened to the episode, okay, Kareen?
I know.
I would like you to know.
I'm well aware.
none of us were talking during that period, but anyone who saw you post that clip, immediately all were like, "Oh fuck, Mel's going through the episode." Like, anybody. I would put money down.
Of course I'm gonna go through the episode. I'm the conspiracy theorist. I have to go through and make sure nothing weird shows up. Why am I holding my... I have to make sure nothing weird shows up.
It was just very funny, because I saw you post that, and I was like, that's toe-stepping. She has about a half hour before we get a reaction, and I was like, I bet anyone else who remembers this knows that in a little bit we're gonna have Mel freaking out again.
Had I known, I absolutely would have filmed my live reaction to it, because I literally went, what the fuck? Backed up. Wait, what? Why? Why? And I'm not gonna ask that question because
I have a
spoilers.
list of reasons, but yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna, like, there's a reason for the crush. It doesn't.
Interesting.
It doesn't just not exist for no reason.
I just thought it was random. I genuinely did. I was like, okay, this is a fun
curveball. Your character's
for...
hot. No, no. There's reasons.
Okay, listen, I know they're all hot. Okay, like.
Everybody
in the Light Arc is hot. That's why Temerity even officially dubbed us as the Radiant Babes, and I love that. Rach, I love you so fucking much.
Yeah, no, at this point I can't deny it.
It's now canon. The Radiant Babes are canon, and I love it so much.
Is it Radiant Babes +1, or is Sin also a Radiant Babe?
Sin is also a Radiant Babe. He's beautiful.
I believe Rachel briefed Anders in the group chat about it and said, by the way, everyone in this group is a Radiant Babe, because they're all hot.
Everyone in this freaking party is hot.
Stacked.
Like, Steve's got tattoos. Like, everyone's
group
hot.
Stacked. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, no. So 100%, like, it would probably, if I was going to pick something, it would probably be, like, the secret library of Albert or something for right now. I would change, like, depending on who you interact with more. If like the Primeval Artifice could have a really cool title if I, like, worked on it a little bit. There's a lot of...
I've got plans for that. Don't even...
Okay.
I've got concerns that need to be raised to the
I think
group.
that's where you guys are going anyway. You're at least going to Ashen Agriculture, if nothing else, because you guys were like, let's go check out the next site. But like, I don't know if that's actually happening.
Yeah, we're definitely
what happens
setting
next
things
time.
up for the festival that's
Ball.
happening. Both.
I need to do my window shopping on Pinterest for what Connie would wear.
Innovation competition, and then ball.
I didn't even think about outfits. We should absolutely plan outfits.
We've
Anyway,
got like 2 weeks.
And it's not even going to happen like next session. Like the chances of it happening next session are so slim.
Okay,
Like,
so then we've got time.
well,
We've
there's
got
like
3
four,
weeks.
There's like 4 days. There's like 4 days. So like I'm gonna have a couple things
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. Okay, we got plenty of time. All right.
Okay. I have a really fun question from Meg actually, which I think kind of ties back to something that you said earlier, but I mean, it kind of ties into Andrew's question from before, but favorite moment when a player either used one of your homebrewed items or items well or broke it. So aside from the string from Istis's sewing kit, because that's a great one, are there any other ones where it was used well or it was just broken as hell?
That was the thing where I was like, that's gonna break. So Avernus, because it was so like long, you guys had a lot of chances of really using the crap out of it. So here's a quick rundown of everyone breaking something in Avernus. Gwen immediately killing a bunch of like imps and shit to fill out the gauntlets with souls so she could immediately max out all of her stats. Like a bitch.
Like a boss,
And I love
think
her
you
for
mean.
it. I know I love her for it. Scaldy, like, I wish Scaldy took Sharpshooter. It's the only thing I wish, because Scaldy was doing so much damage from a distance with that thing.
That's true.
And was insane with it that I really, like, Sharpshooter was the only
With
thing
the
that
Loyal
would
Fury,
have...
you mean?
Yeah, it would have been the only thing that would have broken that any further. The best use of a spell was definitely Alira using Astaroth's asteroid to nuke your mom.
Oh my, it's so good. But also the way that she would use animate objects was brilliant. It was very good.
Animate objects in general is very OP, and I'm very excited to be using that soon as a player. And then you...
Not all of us freaking out.
I just lost it. What the fuck did you do?
I don't know. What did I do?
There was an item. I can't remember what it was.
I mean, the Sword of Zariel was kind of broken, but
that is broken. But that was definitely
that came from the campaign book. So
I can't remember what it is you did.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Well, you know, I give you enough compliments. Everyone else gets credit this time. You're fine. I'm gonna name a couple more Alira ones just because Griff kept breaking things. Not yet. You guys, because it was so long term and you guys kept getting things, you found small, fun ways to like really, yeah. Flight. I think you having flight was like the big problem.
that was pretty broken. Yeah.
Bliss
getting wings added to her was
flying
a mistake
monk
on your part.
with Sentinel and kind of having the mobile feat all together is really...
It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a little wild.
So good though. I felt like a superhero. It was great.
And that's the point, right? So like that's the big thing about like this book is like if I make things too strong, you guys will eventually feel weak in some situations. Like the things like with dealing with Fennel and dealing with like the first 2 sessions. Sometimes you guys need to feel weak. There has to be like a compromise.
Mm-hmm.
But like I never don't want to give you guys enough items that you can't like Nova something or like make something like I want y'all to feel like superheroes. Yeah. Now, I'm going to let your kryptonite come in every once in a while and really fuck you guys up.
The kryptonite being my emotions.
Yeah, emotions, loved ones, things like that, you know.
Making stupid choices.
Yeah.
Oh, so many stupid
All
choices.
of those.
Gee, let's go down a mining cart into basically a den of Dementors and see what happens.
I want you to know how excited I am for that combat session.
I'm upset. We'll see what happens Friday.
I get 60 attacks around. There's 60 of them.
It's a good thing you're a math gay, because you're going to be doing a lot of addition.
60 of them.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
You use your strongest shit right off the bat. That's all I can say.
I mean, I know what I'm doing
Never
right
turn it
away.
up, Fireball, good God.
I
You guys need to
freaking-
thin that hard or you're gonna die. Anyways,
So much regret.
Or just make them all follow me. Totally is the plan. By the way, after last session, I was like, enthrall.
You should double check and make sure that it says creatures and not humanoids.
I should double check that. Pretty sure it does, but I'll double check.
Okay, so I know this was like your first Kickstarter, but were there any lessons learned that you think would make for good advice for either your future self or for anybody else who is interested in trying to do a Kickstarter?
Actively advertising. I wanted to try it, so I'm fine with the way I did it this time. I wanted to see what it was like with doing more minimal effort stuff, so I have a comparison for down the line. Next time I will be doing heavier advertising, which just means like I find those D&D nerds and I'm like, here, you go advertise the shit out of this for me, and like do stuff related to that. The book itself, I would have had art sooner. I wish I could have included art beforehand, but to pay artists what they're worth, there was no way I could feasibly do that without it being through the Kickstarter. So if like I'm rich next year, full artwork, because I would love that. But like if I'm not, we're gonna do the same setup because like because I just like I love seeing the artwork of the characters and the items and even the spells. So like if I could just have a fully illustrated book, I will die.
Okay. We just got another good question in the Discord. Who's your favorite NPC? And if you can't pick one, pick like your top 5.
Top 5s are always good for favorites.
Yeah, we love top 5s.
Irona, one of my top 5. There's a reason the first book is named after her. There's a reason she showed up so much. There's a reason why she's so recurring. She is a very interesting character, and even with like the last couple sessions, we barely have gotten to get into any of it. And I really enjoy
Lore. I learned so much about her just from that one session before we left than I'd ever learned about her in my entire existence.
Yeah.
As Bliss.
She's a complex character, which makes her really fun. And like you don't always need a complex character. Sometimes you can be like, hey, I'm evil, hey, I'm good, and like sometimes like that's fine.
Yeah.
But like Irona's wonderfully complicated.
She's very gray. She's very gray with swirls of black and white in there. Like
and we love her for it.
She's
honestly.
so cool.
She's so cool.
Yeah, she's
I'm so glad that I like latched onto that and was like, okay, cool, we're gonna be friends with the evil queen.
I'm glad somebody did. My lowest of the tier for the 5 is either Tungsten or Aster, and the reason both of them are there is because they are so vehemently disliked for very little reason. It's just really fun.
There's almost no reason. Like we were like, no, he sucks. We don't like him.
He's just bad.
Those two characters are getting just so disliked, and it's really, really, really funny.
Tungsten's sketchy though. In Avernus, he was hella sketchy.
That's fine. The people who have met him in Vagari, he was working at a carnival, and like everyone immediately didn't like him. The reason they didn't like him is because they were like duplicates of him around, and that was bugging people out. So that was bugging people out, but there was still a vehement level of dislike that just didn't match like the one thing he did, which was just exist.
Anytime you say his name, the party dies, and it's so fun to watch. I think that's in reference to Aster. Yeah. No, all of us immediately roll our eyes, and we're like, no, fuck this guy.
Funny. That was so much fun, especially saying that he came into the Jewel Chalice, but just by turning like, I want him at the Jewel Chalice. I was like, you sure you want that? Because you're all going to be pissed off in like 3 seconds.
Also finding out that he's like the prominence of entertainment or whatever. I was like, are you shitting me?
Yeah, that was
that was
a little wild.
It explains so much. Also, fuck that.
Zabe is not a complicated character, but he's one of my favorite NPCs to play. That whole family is kind of like a single slot for me. I really enjoy them.
I love them so much.
As a whole. I
That's
enjoy
Bliss's surrogate family. I love them.
there's a lot of animal NPCs who I'll just put in a single slot as well. That just being them is like super fun. Like which I include like Lulu, Fenkir, and a lot of them are really fun to play. I did not make Lulu, but Lulu is still a very enjoyable. There is actually a Lulu NPC that is not related to that Lulu, and it's just very funny because the energy is kind of the same. Other NPCs. So Cassius, the one that would be the next book, Den of Cassius, is a really fun NPC.
Yeah, who's Cassius? Tell me about Cassius.
Cassius is a fairly simple-minded dragon.
Okay.
Who had to deal with during the war between giants and dragons, which is like a thing that happens in D&D lore, but also a thing I just happen to also put in my world, and it's just funny. They seem to fight a lot because they're the biggest things around and the strongest things around normally. Had to watch his mom and like the leader of a giant group like kill each other and then freeze over mid-combat, and got blasted with some stuff, and now he's a little more simple-minded, and he just kind of like hangs out in disguise as a troll underneath a bridge to a volley, where he just asks people to give him riddles.
Fantastic. He asks people for riddles.
He wants riddles, so like
he doesn't. People don't answer riddles. People give him riddles.
No, they give him riddles.
And what? Like just if they give him a riddle, he'll let them through, or does it have to stump him?
And does it have to be
They just have to give him a riddle. Like he's also not really even stopping them. He just gets up every time they're about to pass and asks for a riddle. But the setup makes it look like he's stopping them.
That's so
It's just
funny.
it's just very fun. And then the party wanted to get to know him better, so he brought them over to what was the remnants of a giant fortress where his mom and the giant were frozen off in a cave, and he was just showing them around and stuff. And he's like, yeah, and that's where my mom died, and just
that's my mom. Oh my god. Oh, poor guy.
He's very cute.
Buddy.
I'm very excited. He deserves a book. He's a good boy.
I feel like that book is going to be full of chaos, just from the little I've learned about him in the last 2 minutes.
And the rest of the NPCs all take up a single slot as well, who you guys only know a couple of.
Do share.
Healith and all the other additions that maybe they're in.
Healith.
Okay.
All the fragments.
We know a couple of NPCs who count as fragments.
Spoilers, I think. Based on his silence, I'm hearing spoilers.
Okay.
My silences are very loud, I've found.
Yeah, your silences are quite loud and say quite a bit without you intending to, and it's terrifying. Vinny, as a player, what items would you want to use? You have to pick let's say you get 3 for the 3 attunement slots, assuming that they require attunement. What 3 items would you want as a player?
Yeah.
Pulls out the whole PDF.
Of course.
Scrolls straight to the legendary items.
Of course.
Fair enough. We did not limit you in any capacity.
We did not. No.
We just said 3
Honestly,
because
Pridefall bracers. The things I gave Glenn, that crap was way too overpowered.
That shit was insane.
Any of the rising.
Wait. For anyone who doesn't know, explain the Pridefall bracers.
Right. So the Pridefall bracers are a pair of bracers that Gwen got, which exists in general now because I made them, and they got some sick artwork. That are a pair of bracers made by a archfey and an archdevil, and they're through their culminative artistry of making these items that they're bequeathing on basically their surrogate child of a patronee. I don't know how to describe the relationship between Gwen, Fenella, and Gargoth. It really
she was a druid warlock and Fenella was her patron, so
yeah. She was basically almost had Gargoth as a patron too, though. So like, basically these two warlock patrons.
It was patron and step patron.
It's not.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. This item was well earned. Because it was 90-ish sessions.
90 sessions in. Gwen took like majority of the campaign to like put her god back together.
Yeah, no.
God suit was made. I don't know how to explain that bit.
Gwen went through so much work that even though it was very overpowered at some points, I think
it was well earned overpowered.
You guys never wiped a fight.
No.
At the end, so like even with the extra power boost, it's not like you guys became overpowered.
Nah.
But like she like was so strong. And that would be like one item because that would boost all my magical powers, which in real life I must have because I'm technically a warlock.
According to that D&D class birth chart, yes, you are a warlock.
Very nice.
Almost any of the rising relics, which are a item type I have made up, which if you've watched Critical Role and you like the Vestiges of Divergence, or if you are or if you played older D&D and there were the evolving or legacy weapons that would change over time with level and like when you hit a moment, I've made a whole subset of those. We have a couple people who actually have those items, which is really fun. A couple people who are probably going to get some of those items, which is really fun. Those are really, really fun, and having them evolve with the character would be great. I don't know if I would ever get there with them, but it'd be really fun to have. And then where is this one? One more. Guys shouldn't have said 3. It's gonna take forever.
I thought it was gonna be harder for you to choose one, so we were trying to give you options.
Well, technically, the gauntlets are 1 and 2, so like, kind of cheating.
If they're set
gauntlets,
one, don't you?
You can't have one and not have the other. I mean, like you can, but
technically you could. Each gauntlet came from a separate entity, so technically yes. Technically.
Oh,
but also no.
The item I gave to Angie's character Evie, who is also from the Septira Temple too.
Oh yeah.
Was also an elemental monk, which called Wrappings of Shade and Shine, which gave the ability to have the unarmed attacks count as finesse weapons, which meant with robe levels you could sneak attack with your fists, which you technically can't do because 5e's a dick about.
That would be incredible.
And gave you additional magical powers, including quickened casting, which is great. So it was a very powerful weapon. So if I had these, a little bit, yeah. It lets you cast. I just had it open. I think it was. You get Toll the Dead and Sacred Flame as two cantrips. With this, you are allowed to cast one as an action, one as a bonus action.
Ooh.
So it allowed Evie, who didn't have a lot of range stuff, to have 2 cantrip spells to make up for her 4 attacks she gets as a monk.
Oh, okay.
When she doesn't
in Fire, was there like a lot of range stuff happening? Is that why?
I started thinking with portals after a while. Yeah, no, people. If you haven't noticed, my fights have been really 3-dimensional. Imagine your 3-dimensional fight is you guys are circling around, going down and down and down, and you have these things just climbing in on top of you. It's gonna be really great.
I hate you.
I'm really glad we don't use maps for Gentlefolk.
Yeah, no, that would be a nightmare.
That would be a headache and a half.
I don't wanna.
60 minis? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You'd either have to
you imagine trying to build that in person, like.
Do you remember the last 10 fights in Avernus where there was just so many?
There was so much going on. There was so much.
Remember the time you guys took your Infernal War Machine and just ran over zombies for half of the battle?
That was great. That was awesome. It was definitely one of my top 5 fights because it was very Mad Max Fury Road and I was here for it.
Very nice.
Okay, let's see. What are your biggest struggles with running things? Constant DMing, managing schedules, Discord work, filling the schedule, corralling people, or all of the above. Your face says all of the above.
My eye is twitching. Anyways. It's getting people to show up on time for sessions. That is my biggest, because it's also my biggest pet peeve. My personal struggles are busy schedules for myself, that there's a point where even though I have time blocked off for games, I don't always have time blocked off for planning.
The struggle.
The really nice thing is my brain has ADHD, so I can do 4 things at once with it, meaning I can think about 3 different plot things and then also shoot a wedding at the same time.
Oh my god.
Fair.
Okay.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
I like being a second shooter. When I'm a second shooter, I can think about D&D and also shoot. When I'm the main photographer, I have to work. Full brain.
Let's see. Oh, we already talked about inspirations in media for that one. Let's see. Some of the feats in the book, or rather, feats in general, allow players to dip into other class abilities without taking a full level. Are there any goals you are trying to accomplish with the feats in your book? Are there any, and also are there like any fun combos you want to see with those feats that you've made?
So I didn't imagine the combos beforehand. What the main thing was with a lot of the feats I made, and those people who had the samplers would notice that a lot of the feats are basically, here is like Barbarian Light or like Rogue Light. It was like a way for you to dip into a class without having to do the dip, which I think is an important part of customizing in D&D 5e for people who are like, I want to reach 20th level as a fighter, but if I could have like Barbarian,
I want some of the benefits of a rogue or
if
barbarian.
If I could be a barbarian for like 3 turns just to get like the strongest swings in, by level 20, it's worth it for you to have that, and like there's no reason you didn't earn it at that point. So a lot of these small things were to be like, some people, especially if you get a free feat in the beginning, or you take the human, or like other variants where you get a free feat, having a feat that gives you that little bit of extra background where like, hi, I have some druidic capabilities, I'm a little more roguish, I'm a really great skulker and tracker. There were other feats that were different from those, and those were made when my brain was like, let's make weird things, like let's make nets more functional because no one uses nets enough, and they're really, really great in actual combat.
I was gonna comment on that really quick, because I love that need stemmed from the fact of you playing as a player in my home game, of being like, nets are virtually non-functional and I really want my ranger to use nets effectively, so I'm gonna make this thing to make nets more effective. And I was like, dope, do it.
And I did.
It's very good.
And
She's only used nets like twice, but each time it's been very good.
Yeah, it's restrained our character who has like mental issues, and like comes not mental issues, a brain issue, literally a brain issue, and turns into a like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation, and rampages. So having an ability to restrain that thing is really helpful sometimes.
Yeah, that is helpful. Yeah, when you've got literal Jekyll and Hyde character, for sure.
I wanted to allow classes. I want everyone to be able to main a class that they want to main, but also find ways to dip into other classes, including
without sacrificing a level.
Exactly, and including psionics, because psionics are a really fun thing. So taking the mystic class, which doesn't get really any credit anymore because it like basically they made an Unearthed Arcana for it and never did anything with it. Making those as feats, people could have access to it, which. The thing about psionics is it's a thing that just like happens to you. Like you gaining psychic abilities is just a random freak accident that happens sometimes, even in D&D. So yeah, psionics, nets, class versatility.
Okay. Ooh, we are running out of questions. Okay. These kind of go hand in hand together. I literally have 2 different people. One asked for top 5 DMing moments. Another any fond moments from the recent campaigns. So like, let's mash those together a little bit. Can you name some of like your favorite moments DMing? Either if it was like a story moment or a lore drop and you got like a big reaction out of it, like literally anything.
Gentlefolk has been really good about that because a lot of you wear your emotions on your sleeves. So
Guilty.
God, a lot of Gentlefolk. From each individual arc,
Okay,
I
yeah,
could
do that.
say, Earth arc, you guys figuring out the puzzle to the orb was really, really fun to watch, and then like your freak out like right afterwards.
Can we like
things
take a
ensued.
beat and explain these because nobody's gonna understand?
Sure. If you want to.
Okay, yeah. So in Earth Arc specifically, right? And God, this is a throwback. So the Earth Arc party, we busted out a bard who may or may not have been up to some shady shit. Because we were hired to do so by what I still claim is his barbarian boyfriend, but Vinny will still fight me on this.
Straight people are allowed to be straight.
I understand that, but let me ship, man. Let me ship. They're fictional. They're not real. Let me ship them. Everyone else was shipping it from the get-go. Anyways, we made our way into this cavern, and like it was a bit oh, there's a movie I want to compare this to that I can't think of at the moment. Like it was very Maze Runner-esque. Like we were racing against the clock almost, trying to get through to this chamber where there was this puzzle that Vinny left for us and this glowing orb in the middle of the room that was like embedded in rock. And it was what was it? It was three things: blood of the blank, and blood of the metal. I only remember blood of the metal.
Blood of the forest, blood of the mountain, blood of the metal.
That's what it was. Okay. Yeah, so blood of the forest, blood of the mountain, blood of the metal. In my character's backstory specifically, her uncle tried to kill her over ties to the city of Brass and made these claims about being blood of metal and shit like that, and it was deranged. Like she still to this day or until this moment believed that like he was full of it, right? That he just like snapped and just went off the deep end. So when they got to this riddle, and I believe it was the bard and Hassett the barbarian stepped up for it, right? And then they needed a third, and Bliss had kind of this moment where she was like, oh, blood of the metal, and she got her hand and she put it on the stone, and then it released the orb, and then we had to fight an earth dragon, and it was terrifying. And totally didn't have consequences in Light Arc whatsoever. It didn't cause a landslide. No
consequences. No actions.
I think Air Arc, my favorite part, was the surprise ending for me as a DM, where people were so done, not the players, the characters.
Right.
They were so done with what was going on, and they didn't care about the city enough that they just let it happen.
Oh my god.
We're just and I get it. Like hearing the players talking out, they were like, "We gotta survive. I don't care enough." And I was like, "You know, that's fair. No boss fight for you. You guys are getting the hell out of here."
Can I ask specifically what happened at the end of Air Arc that led to them being like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out"?
So one of my favorite roleplay sessions happened where it was just a one-on-one. Because a player had to go for a while because it was during the busy holiday season.
Right.
So they needed the time off. But to catch people up, I had that character disappear and reappear. That character got trapped in a temporal pod where they were kind of dealing with being in a frozen point of time, but also time continuing to make them grow. So this character, along with a phoenix egg, were rapidly growing and aging while everything else around. So in 5 days, they grew up 5 years.
Oh my god.
So this phoenix egg that was a baby and an embryo and nothing became a full-fledged phoenix, along with this person aging and dealing with like the pain and scarring that was happening over a couple days happening over the entire years. So there was we had a lot of psychological and emotional playthrough that was like very worth it. And when the character was like, yeah, no, I'm done, I don't care about the city, I was like,
valid.
That's fair. And it was great.
Shit.
And then no one has saved this city that is just dying. Water Arc, them figuring out False Hydras, because that was just really fun. False Hydras are really fun.
Wild.
False Hydras are super fun. I love them so much.
Terrifying.
Fire Arc, most of the last like 5 sessions is when they started putting things together, and everything just became more and more crazy, more and more awesome. Natalie, because she has an archetype, as we found out, like Light Warrior archetype is like her thing.
Type? What?
Yeah. Her embracing her character a lot and like continuously building on it was really, really fun. Light Arc. I don't think any of you guys have thrown me for like a DMing like hoorah loop yet. I know that some
far
are
enough
going
for that to happen.
Yeah, we're not very far yet.
Yeah, I know some things are going to happen, and I'm really excited for those. But
spoilers.
It is nice. It is nice. It's fun watching your characters grow from like the preconceived thoughts to them in action. That's really fun. And then Gentlefolk, literally from like session 7 of season 1 to now, every session there's a moment where I'm just like, this is satisfying.
You just like unleashed hell on us after like session 7 of season 1 of Gentlefolk.
It was a really good time.
To be fair, Gentlefolk was intended to be a one-shot.
Oh yeah, no, I already asked him. I was like, hey Vinny, are you ever gonna actually run just a one-shot? And he said no.
That's
you're not allowed to offer one-shots.
No, you're strict.
So we did research. My first recommendation for the 6 arcs that were Elemental Extrication, supposed to be one-shots.
Yes.
Avernus, supposed to be a one-shot.
We were supposed to play test. We were supposed to play test Avernus. Like that was it.
We did. We play tested the whole thing. Gentlefolk, also a one-shot. So I am 3 for 3. I can't do one-shots because I do like story and combat too much.
Know your strengths.
Too many ideas. Yeah. See, meanwhile, I like one-shots because I'm like, okay, let me like map out what I'm gonna do, and then I know what the end is gonna be.
So, to be fair, people keep sticking with me after the supposed one-shot.
You do a very good job.
It can't be that bad.
Yeah. No, we're not saying it's bad.
We just like to make fun of you.
It's just funny.
So the thing is, I really
between it's gonna be a one shot because we all know that's a lie.
Yeah. So the thing is, there was another TTRPG that came out called Between Clouds, which I explained, and you guys should go check them out. If you're watching this, you should go check out Between Clouds. It's another TTRPG.
I think that Kickstarter already closed, but it
is closed. And
I hope it gets published so I can buy a copy.
Oh yeah, it way hit goals. I'm gonna be a beta tester for that if I get permission from the artist, who is wonderful LGBTQIA plus representation as well. I would like to run something of it. I'm not gonna call it a one shot, but that would be the hope. But I have a feeling.
Let's say a limited campaign. Let's say that.
That seems
because chances are it might be a lie. Yeah.
I like running things, but yeah, no. The very fun world that is there is something that I would love to try out, and because it's a new TTRPG and I've only done D&D 5e really, I don't think I would want to promise anything more than a short spurt.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Okay, this is like the last question that I have, and then if you guys want to just keep shooting the shit, we can. But romance seems to crop up on occasion in D&D, at least especially amongst friends. Once you get closer and more comfortable with each other, you're definitely like, hey, let me romance my friends through D&D. Do you have a favorite campaign romance?
I think that's an unfair question with you two here that I'm gonna just sign off right now. So like there's a lot of good ones. Zabe and Bliss had really wonderful like that weird potential for a romance
They
that never happened.
did, yeah.
Which even sitting there, and if it never happens, that's fine. It's really cute to have that where like we could have been something else, but we're wonderful the way we are.
I love them as like being the friends who are so platonic they're mistaken for like a couple. Like I kind of love that vibe for them.
Bliss and Gwen both finding love in the beginning of like in the first like 20 episodes sessions of Avernus, and then having to slow burn it so hard.
To be fair, Gwen moved along a lot further than Bliss did within like
they got together, but they didn't get together, you know. There's a difference.
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
So that slow burn was great.
I'm just gonna say Bliss and Ram was like the slowest burn.
No, it really was.
It was smoldering burn so slowly, like a stick of incense.
Yeah, Earth itself didn't really have any specific relationships that I remember. Gwen had Toman, who like was an elf. They met the elf who had PTSD that you guys met once that they had a quick thing with. I thought Alira and Bliss were going to be a thing at a couple points.
We don't know. There's Earth Arc 2 now.
That's fair. Air Arc had Daria and Illirin, which was a fantastically gay couple that I very much enjoyed. They were very, very cute. Water Arc did not have any set relationships. Fire Arc, everyone does not have set relationships there, except Natalie, who then made sure Kirin found the perfectest lesbian for her. So then that happens. She also hung out with her ex a lot. So that happened as well. Her ex also found love. So just a pair of lesbians just finding their other lesbians.
Love that.
Light Arc, we don't know. There's so much. I guess Light Arc best one is currently definitely Walter and Ethel, because they're just really fucking cute.
So much.
Azaran and Nell were a really cute couple, but
we never got to see that though. You're the only one who knows that they were cute.
They were. I think the description alone of the fact that
the description alone was adorable.
Yeah, is great. And then Gentlefolk, we have fucking like so many relationships, and then like Sid and Yvette, like the stupidest pair of smart people. I hate them so much. Stupid. If you guys are listening, your characters are fucking idiots.
I love them. I don't care what Vinny says. I love them. Although they were stupid for going down the mining cart, but that's another lecture for another day.
Kindin Morn, also great. We love Barashiv / Bara, and Devadis make relationships weird, guys. Don't include Devadis into your world unless you really want to like fuck around and find out.
Devadis make things very interesting.
It's very fun. Yeah,
I feel like that's just the name of this actual talkback is fuck around and find out.
Bells and the non-existent relationship with Parch.
The relationship that fizzled out before it could get a spark.
Yep, exactly.
And yes, I'm purposefully making that joke. Fight me.
Lyra and Heath were real cute, but like I knew from the beginning what was gonna happen, and I was like, "This is a bad idea."
Did you give Poppy any warning?
Yeah, I'm not that mean. I didn't like be like, "Hey, by the way, at the end, put in the middle of episode 2, he gonna die." But I was like, it was the end of season 1.
Remember
I was
at
like,
the end of season 1, you were constantly saying he was meant to die, and we were like, okay, sure, but we're keeping him.
No, I talked to Poppy. I talked to Poppy. I was like, Poppy, you can have a relationship with this man, and you guys can go travel the world. Every month, you guys are going to be under attack, and it's going to start driving you psychotically crazy that you guys are continuously hounded and harried and attacked all the time, and then he's going to die.
I was there for at least part of this conversation.
So Poppy knew.
Okay.
Poppy didn't know it was going to be as bad as it was, but Poppy knew.
Yeah, Poppy didn't know it was going to be that bad.
Yeah. So there's a lot. I love all the relationships are really fun. I love also getting to be the other half for people. It's very, very fun. I love being Walter.
Is that why Trey has a crush on Connie?
You want the reasons? I can give you the reasons.
I'm curious, but also like I want to find out in game. So,
Okay.
but I was just wondering if there was an underlying motivation, like aside from like.
Well, no, I mean like the biggest simplest reason is that I did make like every like 10 or 20 characters I make a poly character, and whenever people are being like flirty or anything with my poly character, I'm like, well, my character wants to get with you now, so you're gonna have to deal with that.
Oh no.
That's like the overarching thing is like whenever like someone gets with one of my poly people, I'm like, well, you're part of the of it now.
Follow-up question: all of your poly NPCs, are they in a polycule together?
No.
Oh.
A couple of them are, but not all.
How many poly NPCs do you have? Well, yes, we're going down this road.
All of them.
No, he said it was like one per like 20 NPCs.
I know, that's what I was. Very interesting mental image. That's all.
Yeah, so I try to make relationships with fairly different setups because I think they're really fun. So I got like the straights, the gays, the in-betweens. I don't know if that works for the sentence, but I had a couple triads, which are really fun. But like polyamorous people, well, some of them go with triads, not all of them, but like there was a few. Every arc had at least one person at some point, if not two. I think Trine is like one of like 3 like DMPCs or like main NPCs that's been it. So that was like, I guess the big problem was that I was like, and yeah, she's poly, and I was like, oh wait, she's gonna be around you guys a lot. One of you's gonna hit on her, and it's gonna be a thing. Fuck. Well.
Oops.
It happens.
I was Mel, when you asked the question, I was just thinking of Trine and Gravy.
Yes,
and
Gravy.
That trio. Somehow all being together.
Oh my god.
And that was like a really weird mental image, which is why I was.
Who was that polycule? It was Gravy.
Grave, Crypt, and I forget the third one.
Was it Tomb?
Tomb.
Yes.
Thank you.
Grave,
those three were a triad polycule, and yeah, I mean, they were plenty cute in my imaginary head, besides the part that they're like vicious pirates that go around and kill people. You know, besides that part.
Which, to be fair, like, to be completely fair, there is a D&D party out there that has the same configuration and calls themselves heroes, so.
I'm sure. 100%.
There's a D&D party out there that is literally just one big polycule together. Like, that's definitely a thing somewhere.
Probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so, no, yeah, so I made Trine poly, and that was the mistake.
That was the mistake?
I mean, okay, poly and bisexual. I guess the bisexual was the mistake, you're right.
Both parts.
It's a dangerous combo.
A dangerous combo, yeah. Yeah, lots of fun being in relationships with all my friends. It's a great time.
Being in fictional relationships with all of your friends. Yep. Love D&D for that. Let me.
It's great when you're single. This is how I get my love.
Oh.
Hey, so any single folks out there? Vinny is single.
Yeah, God, can you believe like Rachel for a whole session was plugging herself?
She deserves it.
I agree. It was just very, very funny.
We love Rachel. Rachel's very
funny. I'm surprised, Kareen, you don't have specific questions. Do you have specific questions?
I'm very curious to hear if Kareen has any questions. I went through my.
Oh gosh. Problem is I had a bunch of them, and then today happened, and most of them are gone.
I hate it when days happen. They really screw things up.
It's very rough. So like I definitely had some, as I always do. But where they are in this brain, I don't know if it was with you that I said, but at some point I said, like, my brain is lore soup. Sorting everything out, sometimes very difficult.
You've said that the last 2 sessions you've been in.
Cool. All right. It's becoming more and more true the more D&D I play, and I play quite a bit.
That's right. At least all of my stuff is in one world, so like it actually should add together and make something cohesive. It's when you have 5 different campaigns loading into your head where it's just a real mess.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I really just know his favorite NPC. Yes, Green.
Yeah, we asked that question. Mel asked it right after I sent it.
Oh, I just saw it. Well,
I think I know this answer, but
it was just I really just know his favorite NPC. It's like, yeah.
I think I said want to know.
Nope.
But maybe I didn't.
It just says,
I don't know.
It says
when I was typing.
I know, it just says I really just know his favorite NPC, and I was like,
I think
mean,
Kareem
yes.
was trying to say I really want to know his favorite NPC.
That is what I was trying to say.
Well, the great part is you as Sprig also just really know my favorite NPC.
This is very true, but still.
Can I actually ask something about Irona? I think maybe to wrap this out, if we don't have any questions left.
Sure.
Is there an inspiration for Irona?
Not really.
Okay, I'm kind of curious how you came up with her then, because here's the thing.
Really...
I know that it's like kind of my fault, because I was like, here's this orphan monk. She doesn't have a backstory so that she can be naive and dumb. And then you took that and gave her trauma.
Yeah. So.
As you do.
As one does.
The first time that, like, the Chancery and the Ivory Queen were brought up to you, I made that up that day.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah. Her being your grandmother, I made up that hour.
No, shut the fuck up.
Fantastic.
Okay, when did you make up my parents' backstory then?
In which world?
Specifically in Earth.
Oh, in Earth? Like,
yeah.
Like almost same time. So, like, the real bare bones of it was, like, basically around the same time. I was like, oh, this is your grandmother. Well, where are the parents? Well,
Well, about that.
Your dad being a literal fairy, was, like, took a little bit to be like, you already have the 4 elements power. What's another weird element we could give you, like, a reason to randomly gain some extra superpowers? Oh, lightning. Storm Fairy. Let's have fun with that.
Nice.
I also was doing, like, color adding things, so I was like, alright, Irona's white. Both of her kids become blue. Blue plus what gets...
Orange.
Wait, that doesn't work. Yeah, no, it didn't even work in the end. It was just like...
You tried.
Somehow this made sense. It's fine. Yeah, so, and then, like, the second that was done, I was like, oh, I need to extrapolate on this. And, like, the entirety of Earth Arc, as Earth Arc was going on, I was just writing Irona's backstory at the same time.
What?
I fell in love with the character, like, within, like, the first, like, 3 times we were text role-playing about her. I was like,
you just, like, fixated on this random NPC.
This bitch is awesome, and I was just...
Crime boss and, like, morally gray, and you were like, you know what? She's complicated as fuck.
Fantastic.
Nope.
I love that.
But no, it was the first couple things. It was just like, yeah, I was like, I was looking up things for, like, I was like, I want something. I know there are things that are called, like, proceedings or hearings or stuff, but I was like, I want the name of a place that is interesting but still technically has meaning, and I found the word Chancery, and I was like, oh, that's great. I was like, well, what do I want for, like a person that runs a place like that? And eventually I was like, I need a adjective and a noun, and I basically just played what's that game? Ad libs with myself.
Mad Libs, yeah.
Ad libs. But I knew I wanted ivory, or I wanted something related to white. Because I have a theme, if you haven't noticed. So I already, by the way, before Earth Arc, I knew who Pale and Pent and all that was. Like, that all existed.
Okay.
The extensions have like happened, like, since then. But yeah, so.
Jesus.
And now she has a book.
And now she has a book. And an alternate universe self.
She does.
And we love her.
That one, did I tell you what her name is in that world?
I thought it was still Irona.
She has a different name.
Oh, does she have
No.
like a different moniker?
Moniker, yeah. So,
oh no, you did not tell me this because we never touched on it.
Because there is a Grand Duke, Irona suggests that each of the dukes get a different title, and she calls herself the Ivory Duke.
Fucking love that. That's so cool. Oh man. Okay. My grandma's so fucking cool. My fictional granny is so cool.
This is why Mel's fun to play with.
Also, like, just to add, I want to say, Vinny, that I feel like you put a lot of care and thought into all of the relationships your PCs have with your NPCs, not just the romantic ones. Like, we focused on the romantic ones a few minutes ago, but like, Irona is Bliss's grandma and is really cool in 2 universes, but maybe one more than the other.
Oh, you never met Avernus, Irona. She was dope.
Mm-mm.
She was so dope.
A lot
but
of
I
things.
think she's cool in this world. So
a lot of things went really right for that Irona, where she was a confident badass.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I actually have a question for you. In Avernus, was Irona a warlock, or is that only a Vigari thing?
She still has some very low level compared. Like, she basically imagined she was able to go down her full Artificer dream path, but she had a couple extra extensions.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Cool.
Very nice.
When you're gaining power, you gain power
Yeah.
in a lot of places.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but to expand on that, Kreen, Avernus Bliss has a much better relationship with Irona, in Avernus because like they grew up together. Her grandma practically raised her and was like the mother figure that she relied on when her parents were gone, because her parents were missing for 20 years. Yeah, so you get raised by Granny, and Granny invents really cool shit. Like, it's dope. So
yeah, imagine your grandma made spy gear.
Yes.
And you got to like borrow some of it sometimes.
Yeah.
That's
or
the only
sometimes
reason.
you make some cool custom shit like flying boots for your dwarf
I didn't even get to
friend.
mention those. Yeah, that was another item
those
that
are very
I would
good.
have grabbed. That crap was crazy.
Yeah.
Gwen got a lot of crazy stuff.
Gwen got a lot of random good shit. And she deserved it.
Flying boots, OP gauntlets.
Small but mighty. That's Gwen in a nutshell.
Yeah.
In a potato shell?
Potato skin.
In a potato skin.
But yeah, I tried to give so like, I mean, the problem with the thing about NPCs is like, unless you're Brennan Lee motherfucking Mulligan, you can't put your whole heart and chest into a character every single time they're on stage.
A lot.
I try with the ones that are important. I cannot make like a random secretary that I haven't already made up become as super low. Although Nalani, the one who had the little Heelys, the fire genasi with the Heelys, I did make some of that up on the spot. It was very fun how much you guys loved it.
She's so cool. Like,
yeah, like
she's got flaming Heelys. Like, come on, what's not to love?
But yeah, the benefits.
I want to romance Nalani. I'm just kidding.
Be Polly in my universe if you want, Mel. It's fine. I don't care. The fun thing for DMs, either new, old, or players who want to become one, make your characters like your NPCs. One, because it's really fun to have those weird relationships and exploring weird dynamics. It also makes you better as a human at being social and faking being social, so if you work a retail job or something, you get really good at this stuff. And 3, so you can kill them later.
Ooh, ow, okay.
Cop, Keyleth, cop.
You're right, but ow.
Saying
I
the
still
quiet
get
part out loud again.
emotional thinking about Heelith dying, even though like he's technically not dead forever. It hurt.
You guys didn't have to see it though, which was a lot better.
Yeah. Oh God, could you imagine if we had been there for that?
You could see it. There's ways to see things.
No, I'd rather not. I'm so good.
Nensalot's a robot. That shit got recorded.
Oh no, Vinny! No, are you kidding me? Oh, are we gonna torture ourselves more? Or are we just gonna like?
We can't do it. We can't do it. I'll cry, man. I'm
Sprig
already
might, but
thinking about it. Like,
oh my gosh.
Also, remember like the first 3 sessions with him where you guys are like,
fuck this
your
guy.
your drink sucks. You
We
can't hit a thing.
abused
Yeah.
the hell out of him, and then he became
be
like
fair,
the most beloved NPC.
Lyra was not with us yet when he was
That's
first
true.
introduced to the
Lyra
party.
wasn't around yet.
And he was established as hot from the beginning, just like by the wrong person.
That's correct. That is correct. That is true.
And then Healith rode on Lyra when she was wild shaped. As a bear.
Did he?
Yeah, I did purposely word that because I knew the way Mel's reactions were going to go.
You the way you like timed out your phrasing, sir, is what got me. Like,
I also had a hiccup, which hit at a really
a
good
likely excuse,
and bad spot.
Vincent.
Very
A likely
opportune time.
excuse. Yeah, totally. Now that I think about it, Vinny, you've never killed a PC, have you? Not in this campaign, at least. Like,
no
never
one has.
perma-
Yeah, no one's permadeathed yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he says.
It can happen. Yeah, no, Griff,
Just makes me a little nervous.
another wonderful DM here, is apparently much more vehement than I am, in like a great way, because like within the first 5 sessions of the one campaign he ran here, he already killed a player.
Yeah,
I've
sure.
run over 200 sessions over 3 years, and I have yet to kill a PC.
Permakill.
Permakill.
Specifically
Permakill.
permakill. We've
Yeah,
had
like I
people
mean, you
die
guys
for sure.
died.
Need to get revivified.
To be
like-
fair, like Scaldy like dying that one time.
Oh my god, Scaldy. Okay, in Avernus,
was
Scaldy
just
came
being
so
stupid.
close to permadeath, but also is because like we decided to do a dumb mechanic on top of Revivify that doesn't technically exist, and we decided to roll for it. Because Vinny was like, "Do you want to add spice?" And we were like, "Sure." It was a bad idea.
So the thing is, you guys recommended it first was the thing.
I'm pretty sure Becca recommended it. Yeah.
For Revivify, I don't make it a big deal. For stronger ones, I make it a big deal.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for Revivify, I was gonna just let it go. But yeah, Gwen was like, "Do I have to do anything extra?" I was like, "Do you want to do anything extra?" And she was like, "Yeah, I guess I'll roll a religion or a medicine check." And I was like, "Go
And you
ahead."
were like, "This is the mechanic now."
And it was great.
Yeah, it was a lot of bad rolls, and we almost ran out of diamonds.
Stressful. It was real
very
stressful real
stressy.
quickly.
And I'm pretty sure Scaldy went down twice in that same fight and needed to be revivified.
That was another bad one. That was a bad one that didn't need to be a bad one.
It didn't need to be bad.
It's very funny because then I threw like the later fights at you that were needlessly complicated and very dangerous, and you handled a couple of them like champs.
So well.
And then other ones were really difficult, but that one right there did not have to be difficult.
It didn't.
But it was.
Yeah. It was something else.
Also, yeah, another reason, get NPCs that people are attached to, like Scaldy got attached to Rook and was just like, well, I guess I gotta go save my best friend since I was a child.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, well, so jumping off the permadeath, who do you think would be the most fun to permakill? Not who do you want to permakill, just who do you think would be the most fun to permakill? Who do you think would like, fuck people shit up if you permakilled them?
What a question, Mel.
Tell me you
like
haven't thought about it
hey.
before. No, I'm just curious. Like,
no, you're right, but ow.
I'm sorry. If you're having a tough time, Vinny, I'll let you pick top 3.
I'm just seeing the alternate timelines every time someone perma dies, and it's just taking I'm Doctor Stranging it.
You have to process for
give
a minute.
me a moment to
All
get
right.
through it all.
Vinny is looking into the metaverse for a minute. Kareen, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm mostly. Do you want a funny story, or are we just talking about
go off? While Vinny thinks about this and like thinks about how to fuck our shit. I don't like that smile, sir. I opened Pandora's box.
I'm hearing you guys talk.
I opened the Pandora's box of questions for a DM.
You mean Pandora's head?
No, Vinny, that was rude. Very funny. Very good joke, but very rude.
For anyone who is not aware, there is an NPC in Light Art in the very beginning. Her name is Pandora, and she gets decapitated at the start of the campaign. It's
First
an
episode.
episode. I think it's. Is it technically an episode 2, or is it
She
an
was-
episode 1 that got lost to the ether of
It
Twitch?
was our session 0 that has been
That's
lost
what
to
it
the ether.
was.
It was the Lost to the Ether episode that we very thoroughly recapped in the next episode.
Yes, that's right. That's what happened.
So
Pandy. Poor Pandy. I hope her vocal
Yeah.
cords are okay now. It's been like a month. Is she dead?
I hope so.
We haven't checked on her.
We haven't not
I was
checked.
just saying, no one decided to check
No
in.
one
It
checked
was
in
very
on
funny.
her.
You guys checked in a lot within like the first like 24 hours when talking was really difficult. None of you have checked in as she's been healing.
I cast sending to that poor girl so many times.
So the thing is,
Yeah.
for
We should check.
for people to permakill, the gentlefolk, because you guys are further back in time,
Yeah.
have the most consequences
Oh,
when if you guys dies permanently.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah,
Sprig isn't fun dead because too many other things can revolve around it.
Okay, good to know.
Bless you.
Sid would destroy so many people if Sid died.
Yeah.
You mean Yvette would destroy so many people if Sid died?
No,
That
a lot of
too.
a lot of people, like when you lose your main defender, when your main defender finally main defends so hard that they die, it hurts. People would care about Lyra, but I don't. I think at this point you guys might be like, well, she's with Healith now. Maybe I don't know. And
Like a little bit of a cry.
I don't know. The Necromancer's dying. I don't know why. Does it feel like the Necromancer dying is a little more comeuppance than like like a bad thing? I'm thinking about this way too hard, aren't I?
A little bit.
I don't know, because Yvette
thing
is
is,
so
too, also-
chaotic.
Yvette is very chaotic, and also if Sid perma died, do we think Yvette would just
Yvette would
just
lose
do
it.
animate dead on Sid?
I hope Yvette would use the other. Actually, you know what? I think that the party might be able to stop them from doing that, and just be like,
Ideally, yes, but you know it's Yvette. That's the thing. It's Yvette. Hey, Ming,
but that's
if you're
why. It's because we all know
So the
that
other
that's what Yvette would immediately do.
Mint, if you see this, I need to know, and I will clip this later, maybe if I can remember. But Mint, look me in the eyes, good sir. If Sid perma-died and Yvette didn't have the spell slots to revivify Sid, would Yvette think it acceptable to animate dead Sid? I need to know that for my own personal sanity. Thank you very much. Have
I
a
don't
good
think
night.
so. Also, the other thing about Sid perma dying, because Yvette has that bullet, that means Yvette used that bullet to bring Sid back to life, and then Sid still died again.
Yeah.
Oh, and imagine if maybe came back and Sid was gone.
Imagine if maybe died.
Don't
If
you do that
maybe
to my
died,
child. I
the
will literally riot.
The party would riot. If
Would
maybe
they
dies, the
even
party
know,
riots.
though, because she's gone right now. She's just
We
gone.
do intend to find her, so
Okay. Well, good luck with that.
hopefully.
Can we get Kin's Earth or pre-Earth Arc Bliss and maybe all in the same spot? So Mel has to do 3 voices.
Die.
/
We
20
need-
voices because
I
of
would
me.
so much alcohol. I'd be flopping between 3 personalities. Very
3
hard.
personalities and
That'd be-
20
that'd-
voices.
That'd be some personality whiplash for sure. I would do it. I would be very tired afterwards.
Would you be able to do your other accents with Kin's accent?
Yeah, I mean,
at the
Kin
same
talks like.
time?
I mean, yeah. So Kin talks in a southern accent, right? So it's just like this, and then Bliss kind of talks like this, and she kind of sounds like Starfire a little bit, and she's very eager and very hyper. And then maybe it's just a variety of shit. So maybe it's really easy.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be doable.
You flew, but
I
lines,
wouldn't
too.
have fun with it. I would not have fun with it.
I was only asking
I
because
might have
nobody else can keep a straight accent.
Just gonna drag all 3
Southern?
of
Nobody
them
can
to
keep
the...
anything straight.
I mean, yeah, that too, but
and drag all 3 characters into the cottage so they have to interact.
Oh, fuck you.
Do it.
Fuck you.
so funny.
Actually, then I could add Kanate too.
Yeah.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Oh, well then I have 2 southern characters and it'd be really hard to differentiate between the 2 because Kind is slightly in the lower register, but because I have a naturally high-pitched voice, like, I slip up into it anyway. And I try to have Kanate sound slightly more Southern Belle, but I don't know how successful I am at that.
Yeah, I will say, I don't know who would be the most fun. The most fun to permakill is a weird question. I would say
Most interesting, I guess I would say. Not most fun. Fun feels like
fun feels like DM versus player, which is not your style.
Most fun feels like sadistic. I'm talking like most interesting, like plot wise.
Well, the most interesting in a couple of them is just like, who is the strongest character in the party? Because when you take out the monolith, when you take out the front defender, when you take out that frontline force, it gets terrifying for everybody in the back. So Kirin from Fire Arc, because
I like how he's going through each arc again.
I could do
Go
it.
on.
Like,
do it. Yeah, do it. Who do you think from each arc would be the most interesting to like die plot wise?
I don't know from Earth Arc is the thing. Like I think Bliss, because Bliss has the most backstory, but realistically, any of you guys dying like after all this time, I think would just be a little jarring.
Wreck us. It would just wreck us.
Air, my ex's character who doesn't exist anymore, I guess technically. But that's a whole other thing. I would say Illerin, because Illerin went through a lot of crap, so it'd feel really bad if that character had to go through more.
Was Illerin the one that was trapped for like
Water Arc. Water Arc is also a toss-up. There's a lot of really fun characters there. Fire Arc, Kirin, Light Arc. Who from Light Arc? Dying would be interesting. I think Ethel, because Ethel has a god, and that makes things more interesting.
Okay,
that does make
that's
things,
fair.
Or Temerity, because patron. When you have a higher power to work with after death, that makes things weird.
Do we think we would finally meet Temerity's wife if Temerity died?
It sounds like Temerity might be like trying to get his wife to come out more. See, that might be a thing that actually happens. Who knows?
We might meet his wife.
Ethel. Here's a question for you. If Ethel dies, just because now I'm thinking about this, if Ethel died, what would you do for your next character? Like, what would be like your next idea?
I'm also curious to know that.
Oh, I have so many thoughts.
Would you just play another person from the church and be like Cleric Part 2, or would you like try something totally different?
Honestly, Cleric is my main. I love clerics so much. I'm not gonna claim I'm good at them, but I do love them.
Underrated, I feel like.
So like love. That, and also everybody sees them as only a heal house, and they do so much more than that. But that's beside the point. So doing another cleric would be very interesting, especially if I went just a completely different subclass and
Cleric of Shar.
Oh my god!
That would be so fun. Are you kidding me? That would be so fun. I've done all this research on Celadé, and then doing the opposite research on Shar would be so. I really probably should do that anyway, actually, just for my knowledge. But I've done a little bit, just not anywhere near as much. Anyhow, so I could totally go cleric route. But the other thing is, like, I have so many characters in my head of like that would be very interesting story wise to play. So I could also just choose one of them that just fits in well with the environment that you've created. So it'd be a question of, am I making a totally new character, or am I taking an old character like that I've just got in my head for a while? And I'm trying to think of examples. I don't know if I'm going to come up with any on the spot that I've had as backups in the past.
That's fine. Any final questions from either of you guys related to the Vault of the Ivory Queen herself, any of the campaign stuff that you know I'll actually answer?
Ooh, I have a question for you. Do you ever think you would play Irona as a character in a campaign?
So, speaking of one-shots that aren't one-shots, I've had an idea
Oh.
about a prequel.
Oh.
Irona one-shot.
Another prequel?
Yeah.
A prequel to the prequel?
Wouldn't you love like a prequel Irona one-shot though?
I would be very curious to know what she was like before her patron came along, actually. I'd be very curious to know that Irona.
Now, when you say prequel Irona one-shot, do you mean like you're
By
playing
prequel
Irona
by
as a
one-shot he means
player?
limited series. Definitely limited series.
Absolutely. But do you mean like Irona is a player character and someone else is DMing? Or do you mean
yes, which unfortunately wouldn't really work because that means someone else would have to either I have to like hand off this whole story to somebody or someone. I'm like, hey,
yeah, we'd
here's
have
this
to know.
character, make a thing. Yeah, Mel probably could do it.
I'm not volunteering. What?
Mel over here like not volunteering at all in any way, shape, or form.
It's gotta be off of the city and sea and sky though. It's gotta be somewhere else.
Outside, for sure.
That fucking island. It's too much shit.
So much shit has happened on that island. Like,
it's a great place for it.
It's a great place. And like I'm sorry. I know I'm going back to Gentlefolk, but I still can't get over when Fennel confronted Brig and was like, you're ruining this island. People can't stay here. They have to be miserable and go on adventures. And I was like, that's a bliss call out, you motherfucker.
Oh boy.
Because I could go on. That's a topic for another day. But back to the Irona question.
It's fine. I don't mind you bringing up that moment because I remember your face during that moment and it was great.
I wanted to scream. I was like, oh fuck, that's good, but I know exactly what he's talking about, but what does this mean lore-wise? Like, how is he involved? It's a whole thing. We could have a whole other talk back just about that.
I'm so excited so you guys had like an Irona lore drop / Heathcliff lore drop. I'm so excited for like a grand world lore drop session where I'm like, hi guys, you wanted to know what all the issues were?
Yeah.
Here they are.
That's the thing, Vinny. If I were ever to do this limited series or one shot or whatever, I would need more lore to know what I'm working with. You gotta give me like let me be the Abria Iyengar to your Matt Mercer.
I was gonna say you want to plug in that crown of the fucking Spider Queen type stuff.
Yes. But as a player character, I'm really curious to know like what Irona's build would be. And let's talk specifically this prequel idea that you have. Let's jump off of there because I'm sure as she's gotten older and gotten more powerful, things would change.
So, not that you would, but say you were DMing this, what level would you start us at?
I would say like 6 or 7.
Should split first few, and this isn't how every character is built, but when I do NPCs, I kind of build them as like their life progressed by levels. So she would have like 2 to 4 levels rogue, the rest would be artificer.
Okay, interesting.
Because she did grow up where she had to like do things probably not proud of, but she was very intelligent, and the second she could start artificing and making designs and using that to produce her money, everything went into that.
Very nice.
So like realistically, like once she was a certain level of artificing capabilities, she just stopped and stalled out there for a while, and then that night all that shit went down and she was like, well, I'm getting a patron and everything else is warlock. Well, almost everything, but yeah.
I think I just learned some new lore. Yeah.
It's fun. I had to build a stat block for her for the lore book, so
great. Love that.
Very excited.
That. Okay, well, We've been at this for about 2 hours. I think it's a good time to end, if any.
2 hours is great.
We had a lot of good questions and then a lot of good sidetrack conversation.
Hell yeah. As we're getting ready to close out, guys, we should have more beyond the table, above the table chats happening at some point. Don't know when it feels right. Maybe after Blight, we can get Griff on here and have him talk about his world, and maybe bring back maybe Poppy, but bring back a couple of the other players and have like a dialogue about a lot of the unique DMing styles he has, the world that he has built, and some of that stuff too. So
freaking madman of a DM.
So
in a good way. In a very good way.
So that could be a fun thing that might happen. But beyond that, please check out Vault of the Ivory Queen. With 37 hours to go, we are at 200% almost for our funding. I would love to see us at least hit that first stretch goal. Because it means you guys get more. It literally just means I do more work to give you guys more stuff. So it literally would just be nice. If not, at the very least, you guys are going to get a lot of awesome stuff. We have Minta Lavelle working on the alternate cover that you guys who are getting the book is going to be getting. I'm very excited to see how that's going to be coming out. Potentially, we are going to be getting a lot more artwork if I decide I want to pay more artwork out of pocket just to have it. But if nothing else, those people who have beta access, in the next week, you're going to be getting the rough draft of the first book, and then after that, everyone else is getting more and more of the stuff. So 36 hours and some change to go. Please check it out. Hey, you guys have anything to plug for your own things that you want to get out real quick?
Y'all already know my face already. You know where to find me, goddammit.
What accent was that?
Dude, I don't know.
It sounded to me, as someone who lives in the area where everybody speaks that way, generic country.
Yes.
It's just generic country.
It's my favorite type of music.
Yeah.
So anything, Corinne, do you have anything you want to plug of any sort?
Not today.
Alright, guys.
Not today, Satan.
Not today, Satan. Alright, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for Blight, later in the week for Gentlefolk, a couple weeks for Light. So stay safe, stay respectful, and all hail the Ivory Queen.